Welcome to the second video. What we're going to do is build our second tier links to our first tier. And I'm going to use Wicked Article Creator. I'm a big fan of Wicked Article Creator, but if you want to use Content Machine or anything else for that matter, you're more than welcome. What I do is basically the same thing in the first video. I'll use Wicked Article Creator to populate all of the comment fields and other information, and then I'll use Article Builder to load it up with about 50 to 100 articles, or even more, because the second and third tier you can really let it go for quite a long time. So I'm just going to grab, first thing you're going to do is click on New Project. Instead of putting any URLs in here, we're going to click on the second one and click on the project that we're going to be building the second tier to. So it's going to be making anchor text with your keywords pointing at your first tier, and that's what we want to do. We want to rank that first tier of sites. And usually, well, the way that I do it, the first tier isn't as high in uniqueness. The articles are not very high in uniqueness, so what we need to do is try and get 70 to 90% uniqueness in our second and third tier so we can really push that first tier up. So just grab your keywords for your project. What we did was we used the keyword planner to grab 800 keywords to put in there for GSA to find sites to post to. And then your anchor text, we'll just use the same as the first project. So for the modules, what we're going to do is we're going to click pretty much all of them here. I don't like using the pingback or the trackbacks, as I stated before. I read online that Google doesn't like trackbacks, and they just stick out like a sore thumb. So I haven't used them. Another thing that you can do is just pick a couple of these modules at a time and build yourself kind of like a template like Sanook has. Have social network links pointing at your site, and then what you'll do is make another project and point that project at your social networking links, and that's really what you want to try and do, is make a link maze. It looks a lot more natural than just picking all of them and blasting them. So for example, another one I would pick is document sharing, and that'll share to PDF sites. And slide share, that's a good one. SlideShare actually ranks pretty high. Sometimes I find my PDFs way up there in the rankings, and I didn't even backlink it. It's a really good authority site. And then what you'll do is just randomly pick modules and point them at different modules or different projects, and that's really all you have to do. As more random as it is, the better it's going to be. And then check your rankings. So we'll scroll down here and just make sure we'll keep the categories the same. And what you can do for each project that you do or each niche is actually save your category so you can load them real quick each time. And I think I found the ones for dog training in there before. I'm just going to pick one for the sake of the video because I got to make it quick. Go through there and pick all the categories that are related to your niche. Click OK, and we're going to get our Wicked Article Creator code and import. So just put your main keyword in there and it'll scrape and find your sites or your articles for you. Okay, so now what we want to do is get the title builder. And get as many titles as we possibly can so we can fill in those title boxes. Wicked Article Creator just has horrible titles that they put in there. Sometimes WAC can get a little overwhelmed by picking such a large number. That's okay, just leave it, it'll get them. Okay, now we're going to spin them together, copy it, and come down here to, that's what Wicked Article Creator put that in there, just dog training, because I didn't fill out all the information when I exported the database. You can fill all that information out actually in WAC if you want, and then export the database. You can put your profile image here if you want to put a custom one. Put your business logo or whatever. There's another title here that we're going to change. So what I like to do is run this every single time for each title spot in the modules. That way your chances of getting the same one are pretty slim. Okay, down here I'm still going to use the SER engines for all of the tiers. Just because I used it for the first tier, that doesn't matter. You still want to use it for all the tiers. It's great content, great sites, and they're all very high authority, and they're all going to do a good job for ranking you. I did actually a test on that and just used SER engines for every tier, every project that I did. I just used them, and it was really good. It worked out good. The rankings were incredible. So for the blog tagline, I like to put my keywords in there if I can. Make sure you come back here. This anchor text will change after you populate it with WAC, so you just want to make sure that this is back to how it was. And we got to put our little squiggly brackets all through here so that it doesn't put them all in there every time. Okay, easy enough. For the blog about, I'll just do the same thing I did before. I just pick the about me here. It gives a whole bunch of different variations of an about me section. And we got to change this title here too. It filled from Wicked Article Creator. Oops. I think I hit it twice there. I got to make sure it's not got squiggly lines all through it where it's not supposed to. Okay, now just change that first one there so we don't have the default Wicked Article Creator one. Now what I do is I just do the same thing as I did in the first one, is I just add a whole bunch of article builder ones, but this time I'm going to spin it and I'm going to combine 5. So we'll go 10 articles just so I don't waste a bunch of credits for the training video. But I would put 100 in there and just let it go for a couple weeks on your second and third tier. We'll let that go. Make sure this last option is not selected this time so that it doesn't just pick one of these lines every time it submits. Now what it's going to do is go through your list and use different variations every single time. You want to put your own videos in here and you want to put your own images in there. So if you're doing SEO for clients, maybe make a folder for each of the sites, keep the image and the videos in each folder and separate them also. It's very easy to just load them up real quick for each one of your clients. You'll get a lot of views for your YouTube videos in there by posting them all over the internet on Web 2.0 sites. It works very well. I'll still use my search engine to find related links and post random words. I showed you that in the first video. It posts just random words. It makes it look a lot more natural. We're going to get our emails. You can get them at bybulkaccount.com. That's where I recommend. On every one of the desktops, when you first get your desktop, you'll have a notepad file with the domain where I buy them, and I give everybody email accounts to start out with. So keep this at 900 seconds, so it only logs in every 900 seconds, and your email accounts won't get banned. So now we're going to go to the filter options, and this is where this is the most important part of your second and third tier, other than the article options here and spinning. What we're going to do for our second and third tier is we're going to use character spinning. Now, you don't have to necessarily do it on your second tier, but your third tier for sure, because it's going to make it like 100% unique. Not only are you spinning up here in the article manager to get probably between 70 and 90%, but when you start putting these characters in your articles, it's really going to make it look unique. So we're going to still continuously try to post if it didn't fail, or if it failed before. We're going to use random typos, and we're always going to try and post a URL and anchor text in the description. You can try different options here, but I always pick English sites. Analyze and post to competitors' backlinks. Yep. Still use URLs from global site list. Make sure you don't always use keywords to find target sites. You're not going to get very many sites at all. So down here for scheduled posting, we didn't do this in the first tier. We're going to do it in the second tier. Make sure this is a random number here. So what this is going to do is come back to the accounts that it already made and make some more posts. And you'll get more links out of it. Right here, this is a great option. Post first article without any links. And what that's going to do is get your account approved, probably a lot higher chance of getting it approved by the moderator. And then what GSA is going to do is come back in 120 minutes. So 2 hours, it's going to come back and it's going to post another post on that blog or Web 2.0 account with some links in the post. And that's a great function, so you should use it. And right down here, this will plus or minus 5. It'll always be a different number in each of the accounts. So it makes it look really good, natural. So what we're going to do is filter out some of the spammy looking sites, because once you start clicking all these modules here, I mean, there's thousands and thousands of users probably using GSA, so there's going to be a lot of sites out there with spammy links. If you start coming up here and filtering a lot of those out. Page rank 3 and up sites are going to give your first tier some really good link juice, and it's going to rank them really good. It's going to take a while to get page rank 3 sites. It's going to take GSA a little bit longer, but that's okay because we want quality rather than quantity. This is the number here that I've been just kind of playing with, and I find that if you put anything over 1,000, you'll be okay. I was trying it at 100, which was the default, and 200, and so on, and I just was not getting any links posted. So you can play around with that option. It's good to see what results you get every time. So if you haven't figured that out yet, just make sure you put something over 1,000. And for the last option right here, if it can't find the page rank of the domain, it's just going to post to it anyways. You can, or you don't have to put that, but I usually put that, and I'll leave it on the page rank of domain. So that way it won't be posting to any really spammy sites if it can't find the page rank. Come down here and make sure that forum post is selected, and I always select these two here because they're by default they're not selected. And that's really it for your second tier. If you're a Sanook user, the easiest thing to do for this document sharing one is when you select it, come over here, and then when you're, where is it? You select the document one and go into your Sanook app folder and grab yourself one of the PDFs that Sanook created for one of your accounts. I'm just going to select one there to get, trying to find the document thing. Here it is. So what you'll do is you'll come down here, click on My Document, and go to your Sanook folder and grab that PDF. And then what it'll do is post to these sites here your PDF with about your niche. So I'm going to unselect it for the sake of this. So let's continue on to our second tier. So now we're going to make our tier 3, and we're going to point it at our tier 2. Do the same thing we did in the other ones. Edit tier filter options, and I've noticed that a lot of clients are leaving this selected here. You can leave that selected and have a URL in there to your money site. It's going to make a link wheel then, but what we're doing here is we're just pointing it directly at our tier 2 sites. So unselect that option. If you don't have anything in there, I don't think that'll matter. It'll just take the URLs out of here. But just to be sure, unselect that and just have this one selected. I'm just going to buzz through a lot of these options here because I already showed you how to do them. And I'll show you right here on WAC. You can actually just put your keywords in here with your anchor text. And since we're already picking categories, we don't want to fill them out here. And it'll take it all right with the export. See how it filled it all in? Normally, if you didn't have that in there, it'll just put your first keyword or whatever your main keyword was. Okay, now let's just replace all of those titles. Find the dog training category or anything that's close to dog training. Could be parenting, could be anything in this house and family. If it's too far off, then just take it off. And as I said in the first video, I always like to add a couple here, like news and education, because it is educating. Or if it's anything about computers, just put broad keywords like computers in there, and it will still find some to post to. Because every site or every article site has a wide span of different categories. They're all different, so anything you can think of in there, just put it in there. The suggested isn't always accurate, because if you look in Sanook, if you have Sanook running, you'll see that every one of the sites has a different set of categories. Okay, I'm just going to fill all these titles here quick. And that's actually a good thing to do, is just take a look at the categories of the sites in Sanook to get an idea of what to select. And that's actually what I did when I was learning GSA for the first time. Okay, so we're just going to put the about. And change this title. So it's a little bit more setting up at first than Sanook is. But overall, the quality of the posting is just so much better. And you definitely do not have all these options like here laid out for you. In Sanook, you'll have to manually go in there and put the code in. And like I said, I just love GSA. So I'm sure that if you guys haven't tried it yet, once you get into it, you'll love it. So we're going to keep the same options selected here. We're going to spin 5 articles together, and we're going to use spin tags. And that just makes hundreds of different variations for probably each article. There's just so many different variations. Okay, I'll add the emails while it's doing that. And we're going to change our options. I always like to re-verify my links just to know exactly what I got out there. We're still going to use the random use typos, especially on tier 3. Character spinning. And all of these options. The only difference on tier 3 is we're going to drop it down to page rank 1. Even 0 is fine, just because we want to get more sites. We don't want to sit here and wait all day or weeks for our links, and it's not as important. See, now that we're ranking in those PageRank 3 sites for our first tier, uh, they've already got authority, those sites, but now that we're ranking them, it's going to pass on even more link juice to your first tier, and it just works very, very well building 3 tiers like that. If you follow these steps with GSA and do the whole 3 tiers, you're guaranteed rankings no matter what, and you can go for any keyword and get it. All right, I think that's it. Just because I don't have these selected here, anything that you put in here and put your own images and videos is going to look absolutely amazing. All right, let's get that going. So this is going to post any links that this one makes, and so on. It's going to, you can just, if you load up 100 articles and 100 emails, and all those articles are spun, you can let this go for at least a couple weeks. One thing I will say, though, is for your first tier, if you're going to do that, you want to have as many links here as you possibly can. And if you went and got those Web 2.0 sites done manually, then this would actually be, your first project would actually be your second tier then. But since we did our first tier in GSA, then that's our first tier showing there. So just make sure that you remember that if you already have your Web 2.0 sites made manually, which is what I do recommend you to do, you'll get, it's actually very easy to do. You can go out there and make those accounts in like 20 minutes, make up to 10 different Web 2.0 accounts, and then just go and add some article builder articles and put your links in it to your site. Doesn't take long, it's easy. You can add some videos, or you could go to Fiverr.com like I suggested and have that guy make those accounts for you. And then once you get the logins, you can just go in there and do it. Whichever you want to do. I know it's a lot easier just to plug it in and do first tier with GSA, but it's very easy to be sloppy with your first tier in GSA, and you really have to be careful. If you just let it run and run and run on your first tier, it's happened to me before. I had over 100 keywords on the first page, and it just got hit hard by Google, so you just don't ever want that to happen. But however you do it, just make sure that you don't let GSA run forever and ever on your first tier and have 5,000 links with all those different modules in GSA pointed at your site, at your money site. It's just going to get you de-indexed, and it's going to make your backlinks look very bad. That's why you want to point them all at Web 2.0 sites first, because they already have hundreds and thousands of links pointed at them anyways. So that pretty much shows you how to use GSA with making your 3 tiers.